because the global warming is an important thing that the world population is facing. So especially for the young generation, to make them more understanding, our keynote speaker for the next session is a founder and creator, Kun Wannasingh Praset Kun from the Thuen channel. And we have a friend, Kun Phakphum Prathum Charon, who is the managing director of Phakphum Chai Samer Limited. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, in fact, I would like to welcome the startup people in Thailand and the people who are the attendees. So let's say this is the online dialogue or the talkings. If we change this one into the Thai word, it's a big thing, whether it's a revolution, sustainable, consciousness. If you combine them together, that means the environment. So everybody knows that at the present time, no matter what situation, it's a kind of provoke your things that it's time that we may get extinct. Extinction is coming. So our guest speaker today is Kun Wannasingh Praset Kun. Today we talk about this because there are many topics that are quite interesting. Kun Wannasingh is a content creator to work on the environment, and the important thing is the work of this Wannasingh is a very provocative. So not only in terms of the social medias, but these are the new generations who one day get up and do the things. Kun Wannasingh, how are you right now? Your livelihood, work life, and about the situations around you. Now, we're working about environment less than a year ago. For those people who are the followers of the Thuen channel, you have to go to the very extreme, and then you turn back to do the environment. So for the travel, okay, up here, you have to follow me on this one, on my hat. So we will go to the place where people don't want to go. So like 5 years ago, when I started this program, I thought about the victims of the war, how did, and the humanities and the people who are the actors and the people who had been acted upon. We went to Iraq, Syria, Somalia, on all this. Okay, those are places where people don't go. North Korea, but people would like to know what's going on out there. So during the journey, right now we cover 75 countries. So the scope of the problems in our society is worse than our society in Thailand. We have democracy, we have politics, we have human rights here in Thailand, but the problems in Thailand is quite lightly when you compare with the Middle East, Africa, the war, about the extinction, about the genocides. These are all the important topics, of course. But during the time that we study on that, we saw the environment problem, the melting of the glaciers, about the forest fire in Amazon, in Australia. So we started to see the human problems. It's okay, from your perspective, you think it's a big thing. But if you think about the decay or the collapse of the world landscape or the environment, it's even more important thing is the insects, about the things underneath the water, about the thing. We are just one small species in this world. So when we say that we say that the world belongs to the human, but we are only 2% of the space, of the world space. The rest is there are many life things that live, maybe deserts, glaciers, mountains. The more we see, the more understanding in terms of science, in terms of the act of humans, that how can it has the impact for the global arena, whether it's a family, whether you are in politics, you are again, it's all interrelated. If we don't address these problems, then it will come to the extinction of our species and also all the life forms around the world. So I turn back from war arena to the environment arena. Yeah, there are so many places that you have gone about the pollution. Yeah, the very first thing, the first thing that attracted me started when we went to the North Pole. Oh, we met many Thai people who live. It's a small island called Soba. And it is that because of the white bear, it have more than people living there in terms of numbers. So when we went there, we walk across the ocean because it's all frozen up, and then but right now we couldn't walk across anymore because of the fragility of the ice. And then how? Because there's no how the white bear. So how can they live? So the white bear have no food. They hungry. They have to invade. They have to trespass the human community, and then once they invaded, the crash happened. Some of them died. They had been shot. The the people who camping in that area had been attacked by the white bear, and then finally the white bear. Okay, back and forth. But we talk about the death on both sides. So now we come back to the human. You can see that. And then it's both sides. The climate change has the effects on human and from the hands of humans that has an impact on the environment. One person has an impact. How about the billions and billions of human hands that create a lot of impacts on this world? At the beginning, at the beginning of this year, I went to the Great Barrier. I went for diving. You probably have heard about the Great Barrier Reef. That is the largest reef in the world. It's the largest one. You can see from the space down there. It's on the northeastern of Australia. So at the Great Barrier Reef, probably you have heard that about the bleaching of the coral reef. You probably had heard about what does it mean by bleaching. I talked to the 10 people about what does it mean by bleaching. They don't understand. They don't know. They heard about it. They don't see the picture, and they don't really understand what does it mean by the coral bleaching, like from this picture, because of the warming of the seawater. And when the global warming doesn't mean that high temperature alone, the 30% of the carbon dioxide has been absorbed by the seawater. So the seawater has more high temperature, more acidity, and then that causes the bleaching of the coral reef. What does it mean by bleaching? It means, okay, the coral has the algae that live around, and they do the synthesize, and because they will do all this algae will work for the coral. Once the temperature of the seawater rise, it will release the stress hormone, like a stress hormone, and then they said, once you're so, okay, I'm leaving, I cannot live here. So you can see the coral reef is not colorful anymore. It turns out to be white. And then they starve because they don't have anything to synthesize the sunlight for them or the light for them. And how about the fishes on your table? They need the young of these fishes. They need like the way where the place where they can live, they can grow, they grow up. Once there's no coral reef, there's no algae, so there will be less sea fishes for you to eat on the table. So this is just a global warming, but the thing that we do is not only the global warming alone. The plastic that you use every day, if you don't do the waste management, it will go down to the sea and then turn into the microplastic attached to the coral reef, and then to the sea animals, and then it come back to you. So all the feces, so they randomly keep all the feces. You have the plastic in your body, all of us, and you don't know whether it has an impact on your body in what way, including all your clothing, apparel. Right now, they have the fashion that you change the apparel. Maybe they have many collections in each year, and to reduce the cost, we use the fiber, we use the cotton. Right now, they use the polyester. Polyester is one type of plastics, and you cannot burn. Once it is a trash or waste, okay, you can do the landfill, and then it turn into the microplastic go down to the sea. So what I'm talking about, if you look at these places, everything that you do in terms of consumers or the business matter, it has an impact on the environment, if you are looking from the perspective of human being, but okay, if you look from the perspective of environment, it has an impact on every life forms on this earth. You see, this is the inspiration, maybe an inspiration for everyone to be conscious about this thing. And after the journey that you had done, I would say around the world, so the dedication and to do the documentary about the environment, what this is a question? You asked me the question, right? Yeah. It's a kind of forced me to do so because of the COVID-19. Originally, we would like to do the documentary on the climate change in every corner of the world because the climate change has many impacts. I just mentioned about the coral bleaching. We're talking about forest fire. We call about it forest deforesting from the desert into from deforestation, and about the islands that are about to sink in the ocean. So sometimes, right now, you see, at some area, the temperature has increased to close to 50 degree Celsius. And all this trash, all these things, we travel around the world. But once COVID-19, we had a break, and then you see that how can we make the things as a local thing, documentary? It's a good thing that we have Thai. They would like to see something about the local. And this can link to the climate change. It can go to the local landscape or the local environment. At the beginning of the year, we did about the forest fire. This is about the environment that turned into the social problems because it also affects the basic rights of people to have fresh air, to have land to live. And then we went to Chiang Rai around the Mesot district in the north. And that time, AQI is about 700, and some days it's like a 900. In Bangkok, we're talking about, we complain about the AQI and PM is even much less than that. At that time in Chiang Rai, it's 700. Look at the picture that I have on the screen. About this is the kind of environment that you live in. How can this happen? How this one can link to the climate change? Yeah, maybe some sort about the global warming. So we had a dry forest, a dry prairie. So it's very easy to catch fires, and that may from the climate change, but also the local problems about politics, about the things. So like in Australia, it came from what? From the lightning, from the dry, and then it sparked the fire forest. Yeah, and in Thailand, it's more of the 100% of the human hands. Why they have to burn? Because of the nomad, because of the moving from land area from one area to the another area. So that's about the economics problem that people are facing. And finally, it's about politics to clear the area, to turn into the degraded forest so they can claim the area as the agricultural land. So problems, a lot of problems we are talking about. Now, when you're talking about how to resolve the environment problems, we have to go to the roots of the problem. So you will come down to the economics problem, you can come down to the livelihood, sometimes you find the roots of the in politics. So all these things, you cannot escape about the problems in the social problems. So the people who are not aware of this thing, because they live in the same environment, so they have nothing to do with the environment. Like the forest fire, it has the effect on every people living in a northern province. The air that they breathe in, about the problems that come to the healthcare of the people, because we have the universal healthcare. Who will have the money to take care of themselves, who have the money to find the air filter or about the machine to clean up the air, because things have happened that has the effects on livelihood. So I went to the Delhi, okay, not too long ago. At that time, we thought that Delhi is the one that had the highest pollution in terms of water, in terms of air, in terms of trash, and it's very bad over there. So you couldn't see the top of the building because of the PM is very high on the chart. The thing that really shocked me is we have in Thailand as well, but it's a different one. The the PM in Delhi is more from the industries, from the transportation. So that was a PM. But for us from the north, we come from the forest because of the forest fire. Different causes, but the same impact, because people don't have the fresh air, the good air to breathe in. We're talking air is a free. Air is no longer free anymore. The problems of the, okay, is not, let's have the green heart, let's say love your love, is not only the good people who do, but everybody need to pay attention to do, because of the environment, and business should be responsible for the social as well. Because of the like from now on, how do you manage the waste management in order to get the best result? How can you make the recycle to make the new product, to recycle, to reuse, and then, or what kind of the energy that you use that will not create a lot of carbon dioxide? So these are the things that we need to grow in the future. So people who was inspired, that maybe the new generation who do the startup and also the focus on the environment. So how does it's going? Yeah, quite a number though. So this is one people don't debate in terms of the ideas, because even the people who were not serious about it, they cannot resist on the ideas. It's not about the politics that you can argue all the times on every topics, but this one, it more of the action plans, whether you agree with or not agree with. So, but everybody pay attention to the environment. Maybe people said in terms of policy, change the policy. Some people said, oh, change the consumers' ideas. Some people said, change the business ideas. But I mean, everybody needs to change. But the number of people who are more attracted to environment have more and more. It's more for the UNCR, and also quite a small group of people who are interested in war, because it's not here. It's in the Middle East, it's in our neighbors, but still it's a world problem. The refugees, for now, we have the highest number of refugees in terms of 10 million. That is more than World War II. But anyway, how and how, when we do the content in Thailand, we don't see much as we can do except to get the donation to send to the refugees. But yeah, it's quite understood that it's not close to them, but the environment, they can feel that it's very close to them. The new generations, including the old generations, are very serious about this. I know many organizations, the startups organizations, that are looking in terms of the environmental problems and try to solve the problems. It's not just touch, but they think about things and then try to create the boss to be the change agent to create the change. And it's not only the CSR to reforest or to do the new reef of the coral, but it's not, business. Business, quite a number of them are looking for the sustainable in terms of environment in their doing business. They had been there for 10, 20 years, and then when you have people in the organization like 10,000, they are doing something. And as we, you can call us an influencer. You can say that the business would like to do. And sometimes consumers started to speak up or to shout, why don't the business do something of it? Like human rights, equality. These are the things that maybe people are more interested in. But environment may be the second to all those topics. Like Kun Singh has said that maybe you are alone, but now you have the whole people who have the same ideas. Any help, any hope you have? Yeah, we have the Earth Tone Network. Earth Tone, yeah, the Earth Tolerate, okay, Earth Tone, but we call the World Alliance. And so we have many top people or organizations like environment, Loom Talent, Relief, organizations like More Loop, or the startup businesses, and EU that support, and the celebrities like me, myself, or Kulukov, Aria, the Puncheri, that pay attention, Kun Nun, Kun Top from Ecolife. So all in all, we are loose connected, but we cannot agreeable which one, well, what we're going to do next, because we have a lot of people. But if we find the common ground and we can create the impact, that can be one of the alliance for the people who are pay attention to the environment. They can come and join us. They can come. So we will have all scope on environment, and the people can help us in varieties of environment aspects. So right now you are doing the content, you are doing, and then we take this opportunity to set up the new network, the network for the new generations who pay attention to the environment. So the startup, the people who are watching this one, they said, okay, well, just not turn off the light for 1 minute, but you would like to invite the Startup Thailand to join us. It's not a policy only, but let's have the action. How can you invite them? For the earth tone, let's say earth tone, okay? Okay, I still don't know how to invite. We are in the building up the platform. But if you are startups, it's very important for you to think about the environmental impact from you, in every decisions in doing businesses. Raw materials, where logistics, you have retails, you have marketing, how do you do it? And in a moment, for us, we have the medias on hands. We will try to set up the market that the consumers are willing to pay a little bit more or pay the same, and but choose to get to the environment sustainability. Because but if you say that we can have, if your products are a little bit more expensive but you don't have the market, then that is not the business. So but anyway, I would say that all the startups should think about this and try to find the opportunities to that the environment that you have, the problems that we have, like to do the vertical farming, like on top of the buildings, like vertical farmings that we are not really seriously doing in Bangkok, or about the small energy producers or the small grid that you can walk into the shopping mall and then get the solar cell and plug it on and hook it up to your TV station. Or even if you're talking about a solar cell to distribute the electricity to the household, we have a lot of resistance on that one. So anything in the back office or the back home, backyard business, the consumers may not know about this, like the filter of the pollution filters, that the most efficient from the factory, the cheaper it is, the good quality, they will learn, because you have the filter that is better. There are many opportunities in doing business when you deal with the environment and also doing the business at the same time. Like for us, we are the medias. We talk about the climate change, we talk about environment. We are not directly media, but we say the activists with the medias on hands. Let's say that. At the same time, we raise funds through the crowdfunding, and we are looking for all these people. If they see the value of this one, with the crowdfunding, we can find the capital to do this thing. Maybe it's even more than doing the TV documentary, because for the TV program we have to look for the sponsors. We have to look at, and I don't know whether it fit with the environment problems on exactly or not. But we need the attendees, we need the audiences to support us. So when you think about environment, but still we are not in. It's not because we are still the new face in the society. If we can do like a little by little, and finally you cannot deny the big business that have the employees of 10,000 and has the impact in terms of the natural resources, in terms of, and then we need the law to accommodate all this, like a tax, carbon tax. The carbon tax, if we need to, in order to get the fair and just to measure the carbon pollution or the carbon emission of each industries. But yeah, that's quite another topic to talk. But anyway, we have to pay attention, like to set up the protest on that, to have the mob to protest. No. But anyone, we can look at the consumers from the bottom up, from the business. Once the consumers change their ideas, the consumers change their business, change their ideas. Or so we have to admit that the climate change, the timeline is very closer, and if we don't do anything in 1 or next 2 years, it's going to be too late. So the climate change or the extinction, the sixth extinction, some people say that 20 years is closer. The latest one, the latest incidents, how close it is, and the deadline, the limit, how close it is to us. You have to take a deep sigh. Okay, this is the problems of the world population. Within the 2050, we have to change the carbon dioxide emission of the whole world, not to increase the temperature of the world for more than 2 degrees Celsius, but the better is a 1.5 Celsius. But we are not following that trend. We are still, including Thailand, and not us alone, I mean the whole world. And COVID-19 is the very first time that we reduce the carbon dioxide this year. The graph will drop, carbon dioxide. But not in terms of the structure change or the policy or the change, because it's a force, people stay home by force. But in the long run, it will not help. We cannot sustain this one. The climate change, if you look up in 10 years, 20 years, 100 years, is not the problem of one particular problem, because the government will be here for 4 years, and the next year, and the next 4 years, there will be another cabinet. But the people, you have to how can we design the economics, politics that can solve the problems in the long run, in the bigger scope? That is another problem. And the latest one, I read the news, the glacier in Greenland is melting at the worst scenario. They had the projection agency, International Panel for Climate Change, IPCC, is a network of the scientists, international scientists who do the statistics about the climate change. They set up the line that in the worst case scenario, at the rate, we had already reached that crisis, we had reached that deadline. So the worst case scenario, they have to readjust it again, because we had reached that worst case scenario already. 7 times more of melting when compared to last year. If the Greenland glacier melted, what happened? The seawater will rise about 7 meters. Bye-bye to Bangkok. So it's not the problem about the governor of Bangkok, because of the seawater, the river water, so the flood, whether how good the water, the drainage is, but the water will flood the whole city. Jakarta already alert about moving the city, and then in the next couple centuries we will disappear, but we still don't feel that it's a big problem. So all in all, should link to our lives. You are the stakeholders. You are the responsible persons, and it's the duty for us. It's not for generations, next generations. It's you, this generation. Climate change is here. Global warming is here. So that means the entrepreneurs, for the people who would like to do all the startups, the security, the wealth that you have to do, that means you have to have the environment to be on your side as well. Yeah, the startups, not many people that they want to do, they have the social responsibility, they have passions, they have ideas, they want to do the startup, they want to solve some particular problems. And I want to campaign that environment. Nothing is bigger than environment problem that we have. The last year I did not pay attention to this one, but once we get into that, so it can link to all the, from now on we will talk only environment, and we can do something on the environment. So all of you as well, starting, look at the trash, look at the heap of plastics, of the landfill, so from your own life and on your own business. If you look at this, you can see this much that we created. Waste management is only one problem. And the environmental thing, we probably pay much attention to the waste management. That is a good thing. But when we say that, okay, if we use the cloth bag, if we don't use the plastic, it will solve the problems. Not only that, if you want to really care about it, you want to see how big the problem is, and then your care, your attention will come after you have seen the reality of the environment problem. Do you have the models or the new generations who start up and get up to make change in this area after they had listened to the Wanna Sing production? Yeah, because we did a lot of campaign on the West, and then we have many I would say many teachers who are my younger workers. Right now we are the uncle, not the brother anymore. So you can they show a content in the classroom, and is very pleased to hear that. Those people who join us, our network, we have the new generations, quite a number. When we see that, okay, the environment campaign that we are doing has a good impact, but we want to expand or to scale up the things that we are doing. Many times people say that features or twitters and then retweeted. Sometimes we have 50, 60 retweeter because these information are the new information they had. So it's a kind of echo or a kind of ripple effects that going out. So we don't want to change, we don't want to talk about the environment alone. We have to talk about the social problems, because politics, just the content, like about the content is more entertainment, like the massage parlor, to make it more, not to, people don't get bored and we get like 2 million of the followers instead of the 90,000. So we feel that when the people who see the value of the things, the crowdfunding that we receive, the funding, sometimes we have the good amount, good revenue from the crowdfunding. Sometimes because the number of the attendees a lot, but the number of baht that we receive is not as much as some particular topic that people see the importance of it, the value of it. So when you see this one, you want to do for those people who would like to do the business with everyone. But like Kun Singh has said, we have the generations, the new generations who get inspired and they want to do the things. Is there any words or the message they want to tell to the new generations who would like to start the business? Good luck. About the COVID-19. Okay, very first thing I would say, okay, don't do too much, don't invest too much for us. We have the company, 13 or 14 in the company. No, don't invest too much. Make it the leanness as much as possible. So if you can do the by project, project per project, and then once the project is over, you can dissolve. So this is the time of era that you have many technologies, you have many instruments, you have many gadgets, you can use less person. But I would like to say that there's no important than environment. This is the most important topics that we pay attention, but it's the least topics that people talk about. We are talking about human rights, about equalities, income distribution. These are important, but if you have the environment for all of us to exist, we don't have nothing to say. If no fresh water, with the air pollution, no fish, no sea animals, the water polluted that you cannot breathe, and the fish cannot, even if you cannot see the coral reef, you don't talk about the tourism. Everything linked to the environment, linked to the nature, and come back to all of us as humans. So think about nature, love your earth, love your environment, love yourself. And then if you feel you can face, okay, go to Onut and to see the problems and expose yourself to on this environment. You don't need my stimulation. The care, the attention will come to yourself automatically. So I would say that good inspiration, whether you are the startup, you are the new generation in terms of policies, when it comes to what Kun Wanda Singh has said about the consciousness of each individual, of course, each one to start step by step, and one day it will create a change. You don't have to blame anyone else. Blame yourself for all this one. Thank you, Kun Wanda Singh. Thank you. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Kun Wanda Singh, for your talk and dialogue. So that will bring us, all of us, to come back to face the reality of the problems. Just a moment, you said, love your earth, love yourself. Okay, you don't need my stimulation, you don't need my provocation. So just yourself. I hope it works, huh? Thank you very much, Kun Wanda Singh, and also our moderator, Kun Park Poom Patum Charan, the managing director of Park Poom Chai Samer. Okay, just take a short break, and the next one, we have one more topic that is interesting as well, about accelerating digital transformation, mixed reality in present day's business. So next, so take a short break.